first thing that we need to do is get all of our supplies, and we're going to start with a piece of white paper, and we are going to look at the picture of this rabbit, and I want you guys to tell me what shapes you see in this rabbit so that we could all start drawing this together. All right, so we decided we were just going to do the head. We're going to do the little part of his shoulders as well. But can you see some shapes inside the rabbit that we can identify?
His ear is like oval.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, his ears are kind of an oval shape.
And he's sort of got like a triangle shape for his nose.
Mm-hmm. And so there's this triangle shape right here.
He has a circle for his eye.
Yes, there's a circular eye. What other shapes do you see?
He's got like sort of like a
Circle head.
A circle head. Yeah, it's almost a perfect circle, right? It's a little bit shaved off on the side over here.
His body's like a weird square shape.
It is very square. You're right. It's got kind of this square rectangular shape.
His whiskers.
Yes, all of his little whiskers are straight lines, most of them, right, coming off. And then we start to curve a little bit. Okay, so we've got these ovally shapes for the ears, circle for the head, kind of a square rectangle for the body, and the circle for the eye. And we are going to start with that circle shape that was his head. So give yourself a circle. All right, and remember, we're gonna erase this, so don't do anything too dark. And now we're gonna look at where we have those oval shapes coming off of the top. So we've got this oval shape that's coming here, and we also had one coming back here. So go ahead and put those on. So right now it's looking like a cartoon bunny, and that's okay because we're gonna take away some of the curve of this circle to make it more the shape of the rabbit in just a minute. Let's go ahead and actually draw a line going down the middle of the circle, but since it's a circle, it's gonna be a curve. It's not gonna be a straight line. We're gonna give ourselves kind of a curved line like this. Right down, if you can imagine you were running your finger across the ball, it's gonna curve a little bit. All right, and then down below, we said he had kind of a rectangular shape. So we have a little bit of a line here that's part of the rectangle, and then we had another one over here. So let's look at the space between where this line is at and where the circle is at. There's quite a bit of space there. There's just a little bit of space here between this line and the circle. All right, then we're also gonna figure out where the nose goes, and we've talked about the nose. It is a triangular shape. So we're gonna put it in right here. So now we have quite a few of our shapes in place, but as we said, his head is not completely circular. It is a little bit more elongated. So I'm going to take from the side here and I'm going to shave a little bit of that off. That's going to be the side of his face. And it's going to come down a little bit lower than that circle. This is his little chin at the bottom, all right? And then it does still stay pretty round in between the ears, but this whole section over here is way too far over for our circle. So we're actually gonna bring that in and connect it down. So now you can see this shape that I've created, which I would say is almost as if I took a rectangle and just curved some of the sides. And then I can go ahead and erase these outer parts of the circle that we know we don't need to have. They were good for helping us get everything right in the middle, and then we can get rid of that. Okay, so now we should have something that looks similar to this. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing on the ears. I'm gonna put a pretty dark amount right here, but I am following those guidelines I gave myself. And the reason why it's darker over here is it's just showing that it's farther back. It's just where the light is not hitting it, okay? So where the light is hitting is gonna be a lighter shade. Where the light is not hitting and creating a shadow, we have to make that darker. And then it's gonna go lighter up to the edge of the ear, just like that. And do a little bit on this part, really light. And then in the middle, I'm going to create a little bit of a V, really, really light. We're going to blend that all in just a minute. All right, let's go ahead and look at his bottom lip. We're going to do the same technique. We're going to darken in the line we've given ourselves and then lightly take that up. Make sure you can see the dark and the light. And anywhere where it's not working, you go back through and fix it. All right, we're gonna do just light touch on this cheek. And the reason why is to create this dark shadow, that means there is light shining in this direction. So we can't make this super, super dark because more light is hitting this cheek than this cheek. So we're just gonna put a little bit there, just really light. All right, now we're gonna do this ear. We're gonna do it the same way we did this one. We're gonna start on the edge right here, darkening that in. And I'm gonna bring that dark all the way down here, all the way. And then light. Okay, and we're gonna put a little bit on the outer edge of the ear. And then we're gonna put that V shape in the ear again, but this one is a little bit different. It's got kind of a rounded bump that comes up. So there's part of our, it's almost like we're making a Y in this one. You can see we have a Y, and over here, this one was more of a V. All right, then we're gonna look at under his chin. He is gonna have some dark down here. Let me zoom out so you can see that part of my rabbit. All right, so about this far down, if you measure, I would take your fingers and measure where your nose is down to your chin. All right, that's about how much you're gonna wanna measure from the chin below. So you're gonna take your fingers, you're gonna put one at the tip of your nose and one at the bottom of your chin. Mine's that size. I'm gonna hold that shape and I'm gonna come down to the chin, and now I know that where this finger meets right here, that's about where I wanna put another dark color. This is part of the chest of the rabbit. So we're just going to do a round one here, and it's pretty dark. And then it's going to lightly work its way back up, really light, up to the chin. You can bring those all the way out to your edges, darkening your edge. Same way we did with everything else, so that we can define those lines. We're going to do that over on this side. We're going to darken this up a little bit of light, and bring that really lightly into the middle there. All right, so now we have quite a bit of color on our rabbit, and we are ready to blend with our blending tool, or you can use your finger if you don't have a blending tool, or your finger in a tissue would work really well too. All right, I'm going to start with this part right here where we created this kind of upside down V or Y. And I'm just going to go over that line so I can make sure that that's nice and dark, and this little bump. All right, so look at how it made those nice and dark and just blended those in. It's very, very nice, but lighter touch. Now I'm going to scrumble lightly between them. This is going to blend them together, and it is a really light touch, and sometimes it takes a while to perfect this. The more that you practice with a blending tool, the better you're going to get with it. And I always say it's better to do it light because you can always go back over and make it darker. Once you make it dark, it's hard to go back in and make it light. It's possible, but it's hard. So it's always nice to do the dark first and then work on your light part so that you don't accidentally make that too dark. So I'm just lightly scrumbling over these colors here to blend it in, giving it a nice look. And then anywhere where your dark lines were, just go right back over those lines, just the same way you would if you were drawing it with a pencil, but you're going over it with your blending tool. So if I was doing that with my finger, I would just go over it like this. I'm following the shape, and then I would scrumble with my finger exactly the same way. So it can be done with all of them, with all the blending tools. It is important to make sure that you are following all of the curves you've given yourself. If I took my finger and just went back and forth over my rabbit, it would blend it, but it wouldn't look like it was the three-dimensional shape that we want this to be. It wouldn't look like a real rabbit. It would make it look really strange. So don't do that. Anywhere where there's a curve, follow that curve. This rabbit is looking so cute. Now the blending process for this could take you a while, but I like to do it a little bit faster. Sometimes I feel like if I spend too much time on the blending process, because I want it to be perfect, I actually kind of ruin it. So you don't want to work too fast, but you also don't want to spend so much time that you overthink it. That will happen. I'm just going to darken that up really fast. Okay, so now let's look at the whiskers coming from this section of our rabbit. So the same thing's going to happen. They're going to be coming from all here on the cheek. They come from around this whole little area. So don't draw one all the way over here. We want it to start from here. All right, so we have a couple of small ones that come off, and then they get longer, and some of them start curving down. Now look how many this rabbit has. All right, so go ahead and draw some of those on. And the best thing to do is to just pull it. Just let it pull right off of there. Then I'm going to choose not to do them coming down this side on back here, because I would see less of the detail there. It's farther away from me. See more of the detail here. All right, then I'm probably going to put in a few. So look at this ear, how you can see all those little teeny ones coming off, as opposed to this ear where we don't see any of that detail. So I would do the same thing on this side. I continue putting some in there, but maybe not as many on this side. Right here where his chest is, he's probably got longer big ones coming off that way. All right, so next week we're doing a landscape. It's just pencils, it's not colored pencils. It's a really, really cool one. So you guys did so good. All right, you guys, I'll see you next week. I hope you work on more projects. You guys did so good.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.